Welcome to Talking Reds. The sun is shining on Liverpool. We are back here the morning after what was the night of the season and quite possibly some of our lives. It was that good. It was a fantastic win over Manchester City. 3-0. It was the first leg, obviously, we have to point that out. But we can celebrate for a while on that, I think. You're right?
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, I've got Mr. Paul Cope here with me, who's going to be going through with a fine-tooth comb some of the fantastic things that we saw last night, not just on the pitch. I'm talking about beforehand. I'm talking about some of the shenanigans that went on afterwards as well. So let's probably start with the atmosphere, Paul. You wrote a very good article about the atmosphere yesterday. No, it was good. It was good. I'm not just saying that. And it got quite a lot of attention, and not just from Liverpool fans. It's probably fair to say.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm still not sure I've seen all of the attention it got. I saw some of the lads afterwards, and they were saying to me, "You've caused absolute murder." And then I didn't realise like the MEN had mentioned it and stuff like that, which is fantastic. But this is the brilliant thing for all of you people, for all the Liverpool fans out there. I was reading, my phone died after the match, so it wasn't until I got in charge that I got to go through all the comments and everything. But I was in the afternoon. I was just stoking the fire a little bit and throwing some more stuff in there for the City fans and the Evertonians mainly who were piling on. But it was funny because that article was written for Liverpool fans. Obviously, this is a Liverpool FC podcast.
Indeed.
This is a Liverpool FC video. The articles are for Liverpool fans. Something I love about it is all of the City fans who'd read it, and there were little bits in that article for the City fans and the Evertonians, because I knew what you'd say. I knew you'd say we were mad. I knew you'd say we were delusional. I knew what would happen, and I knew what was coming next. Like we all knew what was coming next. And it was hilarious to watch. I had such a fun afternoon. I can't tell you how fun it was.
Basically, you all took the bait just the same way Pep took the bait, in reality. We all saw what was said. We all saw what happened when people approached the bus. I mean, we don't really want to concentrate on the bottles going onto the pit, onto the coach or anything like that. But what I will say is this, is that as much as there's an element that we want to produce a hostile atmosphere for the team, that whole celebration, that whole bit, it's not about Manchester City, it's about Liverpool, it's for us, it's for our guys. We want to see them reacting the way they did. When you see the video James Milner put up where he was showing how they were reacting to the crowd outside, and we know that they took it onto the pitch because we all saw it on the pitch, and that's what it's there for.
Yeah, this is the bit I don't really get. Like we were saying before we started filming that Frank Lampard had a great quote about it before the match when he was talking about Chelsea in 2005, and he was saying, no, it didn't affect me. Like, I'm Frank Lampard, I've played in big games, yeah, it didn't affect John Terry, but there's two bits that I don't think people get onto, is that we don't need to affect those players. We only need to affect one of their players, and now you're a man down.
Yeah.
We only need to affect one more, and all of a sudden, your whole thing's disrupted. But it's not even about that. It's about making our players feel 10 foot tall, and that's what Lampard said. He said, forget about what it's doing to the opposition. I saw what it did to Liverpool's players, and you could see it. Look at Chamberlain. Chamberlain strolled around that pitch like he was 20 foot, didn't he? Like, I'm gonna, when he put that ball in the top corner, I said to the lads next to me, the brilliant thing about this now is Oxlade-Chamberlain loves playing Man City. Every time we play City, he'll go, I'm just going to score a screamer. Watch this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when those players are coming in, and this is my favourite thing, and do you know what? There'll be people watching this who aren't Liverpool fans. Why are you watching it? Why are you so obsessed with us? You can tell yourselves whatever you want. You're obsessed, and it's because you can't have this. There's nothing that they can do to get this. This is what gets passed down from generations, and you can take the piss again, and you can laugh about it, but it's true, and you can't have it. And the reason these players can perform like they did is because of all of that. Mm-hmm. When James Milner's on that bus and he's filming that crowd, and I've seen the interview with Virgil afterwards, and this is why they come. This is why they sign. This is why Virgil van Dijk signed for Liverpool and not for Man City, because City can't do what we can do. And it's exactly that. Think of how much energy is inside those players when they get on that bus and they drive through that crowd. And Chamberlain said they went out to warm up, and it was electric just warming up, and already before they start. And then Pep Guardiola, the genius Pep Guardiola, wins the toss. What do, Pep? Make us attack the Kop in the first half, you absolute fucking idiot. I said to my mates next to me, like, because the crowd, some of the crowd booed, and it was like immediately we went, Oh no, actually.
Yeah. I was the same.
It's a big mistake, that, Pep. What are you going to do? We're already burning with energy and fire, and now you're going to make us attack our favourite end?
Exactly.
Let's go.
And I mean, if he didn't really need any telling, he did exactly the same thing in the league game, and it worked in exactly the same way. I mean, come on. It's funny. I want to talk a little bit more about City fans, because the guys in the crowd, they kind of represented quite well. They were trying to make some noise. One of the things they were singing, though, is that we're all living in the past. And I initially took issue with that, but then I thought about it. They're right. We are living in the past. We're living in the past from January, where we beat Manchester City at home in Anfield, or December 2016, where we beat Manchester City at home at Anfield, or March 2016, where we beat Manchester City at home in Anfield, or March 2015, when we beat Manchester City at home at Anfield, or April 2014, where, that's right, we beat Manchester City at home at Anfield. This is recent history. This is happening right now. We are your kryptonite, lads. You can't handle it. And as long as that may continue, I think we're going to be very, very happy.
100%. Like, I love the whole living in the past thing. It's funny because all football fans living in the past. Man City haven't won anything since the last time they won something. And okay, that's more recent than we won something. We won a trophy. But I tell you what, we weren't living in the past last night. We beat you last night. That's all that matters. Mm-hmm. This is a Champions League. Some of the comments, like I'll share some of the comments I was getting on my article with you, which were brilliant. Like I got one with my favourite of the whole day. I mean, there were City fans who were just, they still don't get it. It's still going mad on my Twitter this morning. I've woken up with such a big smile on my face. An Evertonian blamed me for one of his colleagues going home.
What?
Yeah. He said to me, you said in your article that people should stand up and leave their place of work. And one of my colleagues who wasn't sick this morning has now told his boss he's sick and he's got to go home. Is that right? You think now we have to do his work? And I replied to him saying, yeah, I think it's great, but only if it makes you personally unhappy as an Evertonian. This is what should be happening. Evertonians should be doing our work while we celebrate Champions League quarter-final wins. That's what should be happening. That's what the world is made to do. The sun is shining. There's a reason for that. The world is happy. The universe wants Liverpool to win the Champions League. And as soon as you all realise that, the sooner you accept it, the better it'll be for everybody. This is what it's all about.
100%. And I want to put in that little note of caution. Obviously, it is still the first leg. We are aware of that it's still the first leg. I'm aware that there's going to be City fans out there hoping to replay this in some dramatic comeback that they have next week. Well, let me put it to you this way. We are going to celebrate what our team is capable of. There aren't very many people right now who are able to do it in the same way. So regardless of what happens next week, we are allowed to celebrate this. The players and the coaches, they're probably back working on the derby right now, but we don't have that luxury. We're allowed to go crazy. And while I've got the subject of Klopp on my mind, I want to talk a little bit about how right he got it last night, because there's been lots in the papers about how Guardiola got it wrong in terms of dropping Sterling, playing Laporte, and this and that and the other. But if you look to our midfield, 3 Englishmen, not a lot of what you would consider the kind of guile and creativity that Manchester City had. They even played an extra central midfielder to try and snuff us out. And yet still, they couldn't break us down. In that second half, you could tell that they were just so determined not to let them through, and that's what carried us over the line.
Yeah, we mentioned this before we started recording as well. I was actually a little bit worried when I saw their midfield. I thought, well, the plan is clearly to just dominate us in midfield. And we were talking before about when you see all the Man City, Liverpool combined 11s before the match, and everyone just picked Man City's midfield, everybody. And we all say that our midfield's our weak point and we've got these players, and would we upgrade on all of them? Probably, possibly, who knows? I always have this thing that basically people don't like Jordan Henderson, and when you say who do you want, who's better, that conversation always ends up in Graham Souness. You can't have Graham Souness anymore, that's it. Fernandinho wasn't as good as Jordan Henderson last night, and he's one of the people we always say, oh, you'd have Fernandinho. Well, he's not as good, and he wasn't as good. But this mad thing is that this maligned midfield we've got, we had 3 lads against their unbelievable 4. Mm-hmm. And we still dominated. They still couldn't break us down. We still were 3-0 up after half an hour. So It comes down to Klopp and it comes down to the organisation, and it also comes down. I love this stuff. It's the psychology. We didn't change. We do what we do, and we said we're good enough. Klopp said to our lads, "You're good enough to beat these." But Guardiola's message to his lads was, "I'm not so sure, you know. I'm not so sure. Let's change and let's see what we can do, and let's see if we can contain them." And after half an hour, when it hasn't worked, and they're doing the thing that I said in my article would happen, and it did happen, and it'll happen again, where they're all looking at each other, going, "What do we do now? What's next, boss?" And the boss is going, "I don't know. This hasn't happened to me before."
It's an uncharted territory. Well, it has happened to him before. Every time he's played against Jurgen Klopp, you'd think that he'd have thought something through by now. But maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's because Jurgen Klopp has been so good at breaking down what he does. He's trying to think so far out of the box that it actually means that the players are lost. They can't find the box anymore.
Yeah.
No shots on target from a Guardiola team for Manchester City for the first time. No shots on target for a Manchester City team at all in about 2 years or something. That says a lot. And I mean, yes, they're going to be dangerous second leg. We're going to go out there. We're definitely not going to have Henderson, which is a bit of a blow. Yeah. Hopefully Chan will be fit to come back in, so it's not as big of a blow. Hopefully Mo Salah is fit. I think that we're all going to be hoping that he takes a bit of a blow on Saturday and watches us annihilate the Blues. We don't need him for that, I don't think. But everything in Liverpool FC's world right now is rosy. And let's not dwell on the little bits. We're happy. We should be happy. I hope you're happy. I hope you're drinking as much as we are.
On that point as well, I think this is important to say, because no doubt all of those people who are obsessed who are watching this now, and I don't know why, if they beat us 4-0 next week, which they're capable of doing, if they beat us 5-1 next week, which they're capable of doing, it doesn't change last night. It doesn't change today. I would go as far, you said before, we're allowed to celebrate this. I'd go further. I'd say we're obliged to.
Yes.
This is life. If you're not enjoying this as a Liverpool fan, if you're too worried about the second leg, you're not doing it right. This is what it's about. Enjoy it, soak it all up. If we lose next week and we go out, it doesn't change last night. It doesn't stop what we got. It doesn't change the memory. That Dortmund game, when we went on to lose in the final, it doesn't matter. Okay, we'd rather win the final, of course we would. It doesn't change that memory of that performance. It doesn't mean that the players who played in that game aren't going, wouldn't fancy Anfield again. And they move to other clubs, and other clubs say, have you played at Anfield? And they say, yeah, our heads completely exploded. We were winning 3-1, and then we don't know what happened. Our boss said at the end of the game, when someone said to him, what happened then? He said, I don't know. It wasn't logical. That's what he said. That was Tuchel's answer. It wasn't logical. Matt Hummels, I think it might have been, I always reference Matt Hummels, I don't know why. It might have been him, it might have been someone else. Said, at like 5 minutes left, he was like, two sides of our team were playing two different shapes. He said, we didn't know what we were doing anymore. Our heads had gone.
Yeah.
And that's what's important about last night. Last night is, even if we don't go through, which I think is very unlikely at this point, it's another building block, isn't it? It's another stepping stone. We learned from the first game at Anfield. We went 4-1 up in that game, and then our heads went because we let them back in.
Because we couldn't believe that it happened so well. And this, you're right. I mean, that whole adapting to being able to manage a game late on, that part was almost as impressive as the 3-goal blitz, and a lot more unexpected. That's the bit that we're going to be hopefully building on to actually take us to the promised land of silverware. Now, we could quite easily talk about all of this for as long as we have, but Sam's giving me that sign he gives me when he says, you've been talking for a while. So we should probably move on to the papers. I wonder what's going to be in the papers. So here we are with today's papers, and surprise, surprise, it's a lot about last night's game. Anfield ambush, I kind of like this one. Incredibles, I thought so. Halfway to paradise. Ooh, well, technically paradise is the final, so it's a little bit more than halfway. But I like what you've done there. But basically, everyone is in agreement that we were bust and Manchester City were terrible. And I want to take a particular look at the ratings in the Times today, because I don't know how many of you listened to The Pink last night. If not, why not? It was one of the best ever. But John Gibbons was very, very kind to Manchester City, and he assured us that they'd actually played all right. Well, the Times do not agree. Let me read you the ratings. Edison, 4. Kyle Walker, 2. Otamendi, 2. Vincent Kompany, 2. Laporte, 2. Fernandinho, 3. De Bruyne, 5. Here's De Bruyne. Gundogan, 3. David Silva, 5. Leroy Sané, 3, which I think we both agree is a little bit harsh.
A little bit harsh.
Gabriel Jesus, 3. Now, let's just dwell on that for a second. This is a team who are probably going to be crowned champions of England, and the most dominant champions of England has been for quite some time if you look at the stats in the terms of how long into the season that they've clinched it. And yet, they just had no idea what they were doing. How amazing is that?
Yeah, it's incredible, and this is a funny thing that goes on with Liverpool as well, and the British press and all other British clubs. All of a sudden, I've been in so many games. I remember going to the Bernabeu under Benitez when we won 1-0, and Madrid had won 14 on the bounce, or were unbeaten for months on end. And before we went there, everyone was saying they're fantastic and they're brilliant. Then we beat them, and the next day's press was all Madrid aren't that good.
Yeah,
like that is what you were saying yesterday. And it was the same when we battered Porto and we battered Maribor, and it's always
there's always a caveat.
The other team were rubbish. Well, it's funny that, isn't it? City, when was the last time City got ratings like that? And look, we were saying they're a bit harsh, aren't they? 2s and 3s. Sané, for me, was their best player. He was more than a 3.
He was.
And actually, that to me is putting down how good we were, because we made this happen.
Yes.
You know, he doesn't get a 3 in this paper if Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't an 100 out of 10.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold was unbelievable. Sané had a good game. I think if you said to Sané, what would you think of your own performance? Did all right. Got on the ball loads. Tried to
far
create
their
things.
most effective player.
Absolutely.
By far.
But so this is about us. This is about how good we were, and this isn't what they're not used to this happening to them. Guardiola's not used to this happening to him. So I think that's the funny thing. We were talking about this just before. Let everyone say what they want. Let everyone talk about City. Let everyone say they were poor. Let everyone talk about Guardiola's tactics. But we know.
Yeah.
Let everyone say the atmosphere didn't affect them. But we know. And it doesn't matter. And you can deny it as much as you want. We'll wait for the next victims to come to town and we'll do the same thing to them.
Yeah.
And they'll be getting their 2s and 3s.
Very much so. I think there's another thing going on here in the Times where they talk about the other lad on the other side and the bargain of a lifetime.
Yeah.
8 million for Andy Robertson. I mean, he's fast becoming a fan's favourite, and I just want to flag up he did another one of those scrappy do runs last night. I don't know if anyone saw it. Late on in the game on the left wing, and he won a tackle. And he was like, I've still got the ball, so I'm going to still keep going. He got past another one. Oh, still got the ball, I'm going to keep going. He just kept doing that. Up the pitch, up the pitch, up the pitch. I tell you, if that ball had gone in, then that's it. The power would have gone out. They'd have all had to go home. They'd have had to go home.
That's what we said that in the game. Like, I burst out laughing at that point because I was like, if he scores there, we might as well just all leave.
Yeah.
I could imagine Guardiola going, that's it.
We'll have this.
That's the end. I need to point this out. I love this. I was saying to Mo before, this is my favourite thing about Andy Robertson. Whenever we score, he's there. Yeah. He's celebrating. He's one of us. He just can't believe how lucky he is to be part of this. So he will just keep running and running and running. And we were saying before the game, like, he'll be reveling playing in this game because he just loves, like, he's the perfect, I'll just give him a kick up the arse. I'll give him a good kick up the arse and we'll see how he likes that. Pep Guardiola hasn't trained him to be kicked up the arse, has he? Like by a rough Scotsman. I love the fact he can't grow a proper beard. I love the fact he isn't styled. I love the fact he's just scruffy. He's just brilliant. Absolutely love him. 8 million quid.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if he turns up in the next Nivea advert, put it that way. But yeah, we love you, Robbo, anyway. There are other things that have happened in the world of football. We should probably pay our respects to Ray Wilkins, who tragically passed yesterday. Someone who featured a lot in my childhood football, mainly as a commentator on Football Italia. But again, he was a great player and a great coach, and it was a sad loss. But essentially, I really don't want to sully this show with anything other than how amazing that game was. I think we can still talk about that game. I think we're allowed to, aren't we?
Yeah, 100%. I've got to do the review show later for those who don't subscribe. It's like our serious analytical. It's like Monday Night Football. It's really popular and we really enjoy doing it. I haven't got a clue what I'm going to say. I've got no idea. I was saying to Mo before that I came out the game and someone went to me, so Laporte played left back, and I was like, did he? No idea. Couldn't tell you anything about them. I'm gonna have to watch some goals back and try and figure out what I'm gonna say, something even semi-intelligent about this game.
I'm actually really looking forward to listening to the show as well. And there's actually some more shows that are coming out today. I don't have the full details. I'm sure Sam will be able to fill that in with his magic later on. But as you know, we've always got stuff going on. We've got the review show and the pro review. You're going to be a busy boy there today.
Long day today.
And then before the end of the week, we've got all the things you like. We've got wild cards, we've got AFQ, we've got plenty to keep you all satisfied until the next time we get on the pitch and we get to destroy another team. Who's up next? Oh yeah, it's Everton, the Reds.